Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmate. I'm Marcel ZF Nepomuceno. Today we are here to tackle Chapter 21 Decision to Return to Manila. So, Dr. Jose Rizal, one of the Philippines national hero, went back to the Philippines to help his fellow men and strive for freedom for the country. He wanted to talk to the governor and start a group called La Liga Filipina for Liga Filipina. However, the governor didn't like his ideas and was accused of being a troublemaker and was arrested. But even though he was locked up, Rizal never gave up on helping his people. So Dr. Jose Rizal returned to the Philippines to help Filipinos and founded the La Liga Filipina for peaceful reforms in modern times of research. It also called La Liga Filipina. However, he has been seen as a threat to Spanish rule that made him arrested, but he did not stop here. He continued and remained dedicated to his cause, justice, equality, and freedom. Next will be part where Rizal decided to return Manila. So why did Rizal return to Manila? So in May 1892, Rizal decided to return to Manila for three main reasons. Number one is to discuss his Borneo colonization project with Governor General Evelio de Espojol, who served as a Spanish Governor General of the Philippines during the time. Rizal proposed a plan to establish a Filipino colony in North Borneo, in which today it is now called Sabah, as a safety place of Filipinos from the abuse of the Spanish rule. He intended to present his plan to the Governor General to create self-sustaining Filipino community where they called live happily and fairly. The next one, establish the La Liga Filipina in Manila. Rizal wanted to formally establish La Liga Filipina in Manila, a civic organization aimed to unite Filipinos, fostering mutual support and promoting education and economic reform, because it was his vision to peacefully fight for the country and his people for independence, road, unity, and empowerment. And the third one is the address Eduardo Lete's accusation about Rizal. Rizal was forced to return and defend his name after being accused of cowardice, selfishness, and insecurity. In his patriotic efforts, these accusations threatened his reputation and could lose the trust of compatriots and in his leadership and purpose. The next are accusations of Lete about Rizal, but who Lete? What his connection to Dr. Jose Rizal? Dr. Lete was Philippine-born Spaniard. He was for La Solidaridad, a newspaper which was established to express the goal of the propaganda movement towards achieving assimilation with Spain. He was once an ally for Rizal, but became rebels due to personal and ideological difference. He felt over Rizal is growing popularity and influence. In April 15, 1892, he wrote a controversial article in La Solidaridad about accusing Rizal as cowardly because he implied that instead of fighting the Spanish authorities, Rizal chose the non-violent way. He could egotistic or selfish, as he claimed that Rizal was self-centered and only thinks about his personal ambition rather than the welfare of the Filipino people. Opportunistic, as Lete portrayed Rizal as someone who used his mark to gain personal recognition rather than genuinely leaning the cause of freedom, and lastly, a patriot only in words, as he said the article, the Rizal efforts are limited only to writing and speaking, that according to him, it means of unwillingly taking concrete action for the country. The decision to return Manila. May 1982, Rizal decides to return Manila. Reason: conferred with Governor Espojol regarding his Borneo colonization project, established the La Liga Filipina in Manila, authored Eduardo Lete in La Solidaridad. Farewell letters. On June 20, 1892, Rizal writes to silent letters to his parents, brethren, and friends to Filipino people. On June 20, 1892, knowing the dangers faced, Rizal wrote two steel letters as final testament to his love for his country and people. Number 1 is the letter addressed to his parents, beliefs, and friends, expressing his gratitude, love, and final wish for them. The second one is the letter directed to Filipino people, inspiring to continue the fight for freedom and fostering unity and perseverance in their shared struggle. Rizal entrusted these letters to Dr. Vicente Baltasar Concepcion, a trusted from friend and fellow patriot. Dr. Concepcion was respected physician and reliable confidant who shared Rizal ideals. Rizal chose him because he know Dr. Concepcion would faithful safeguard and deliver his letter to the intended recipients. Second homecoming, Rizal's arrival in Manila. June 26, 1892, the arrival of Rizal and his sister Lucia in Manila. The second homecoming of Jose Rizal to Philippines, accompanied by his sister Lucia, is a significant historical event. It occurred on June 26, 1892, when Rizal returned from his stay in Europe to actively pursue reforms in the Philippines under Spanish rule. He traveled on the steamer SS Brazils and brought with him various writings, including the manuscript of his novel El Filibusterismo. Purpose of return, Rizal aimed to establish the La Liga Filipina, a civic organization promoting solidarity and reforms for the welfare of Filipinos. He was also motivated by the deteriorating situation of his family Calamba due to land disputes with the Dominican friars. Accompanied by Lucia, Rizal's sister Lucia joined him on this January after the death of her husband Mariano Herbosa, who had been denied proper Catholic burial because of his alleged association with Rizal and his liberal ideas. On July 6, 1892, just days after founding the La Liga, Rizal was arrested on charge of sedition due to his writing and reformist ideas. He was exiled to Dapitan, Mindanao, marking the beginning of his life and exile, a significant turning point in his crusade for Philippine freedom. The second homecoming highlight Rizal's unwavering commitment to his country despite the personal risks faced under Spanish colonial rule. It also underscored his role as a visionary leader in the Philippine national movement. That will be my part, sir.
So, good morning everyone. I am Ray Mapas. I will continue to discuss the topic about decision to return to Manila. The founding of the Liga Filipina on July 3, 1892, on the evening of Sunday, following his morning interview with Governor General Lisbohol, Rizal attended a meeting with patriots at the home of the Chinese Filipino Mestizo, the Doroteo Onjonco on Ilaya Street, Tondo, Manila. So, ano nga time, Monday diha na found ang Liga Filipina, which gitukod ni Rizal. What is the Liga Filipina? Liga Filipina was a secret revolutionary society which was founded by Rizal. And then, nasa nag-aim, first, unite Filipinos from different regions and social classes, promote education and literacy among Filipinos, improve the economic conditions Filipino, advocate for reforms within the Spanish. Then, however, ang Liga Filipina kay wala siya magdugay kung giban siya sa Spanish authorities. Despite its brief existence, the Liga Filipina played a significant role in the Philippine Revolution by raising awareness of Filipino nationalism and inspiring future generations of revolutionaries. So, motong gibanto sa mga Spanish authorities tungod kay maka-influensya siya para sa paglambo sa maong revolusyon. So, motong giban sa mga Spanish authorities. Then, explain ano po nga time, Rizal explained the objectives of the Liga Filipina, a civic league of Filipinos, which he desired to establish and its role in the socio-economic life of the people. Then, the officer of the new league were elected. So, ano pag nga time, ga-elect sila new nga bagong officer, i-composed of president, secretary, treasurer, fiscal. The fiscal, which means a prosecutor. Then ang ilang president si Ambrosio Salvador. Then secretary is Dato Arellano. Then ang treasurer is si Bonifacio Arevalo. Then ang fiscal or a prosecutor is si Agustin de la Rosa. Then napo sila imuto nga gamba which is unos instar omnium or one like all mo imuto sa Liga Filipina. The governing body of the league was the Supreme Council, which had jurisdiction over the whole country. It was composed of president, secretary, treasurer, and a prosecutor. Also, napod sila provincial council sa kada province, napod sila popular council sa mga kada lungsod. The duties of Liga members as follows. So, ang mga members sa mga liga na sila gisunod. Ang first is obey the orders of the Supreme Council. Number 2, to help in recruiting new members. Number 3, to keep in strictest secrecy the decisions of the Liga authorities. Number 4, to have symbolic name which he cannot change until he becomes president of his council. Number 5, to report to the fiscal or prosecutor anything that he may hear which affect the Liga. Number 6, to behave well as benefits a good Filipino. Number 7, to help fellow members in all ways. So moto 7 ka duties nga gisunod sa mga gisunod sa mga members sa liga. Then the next is Rizal arrested and jailed in Fort Santiago. While si Rizal nagbiyahe pa doon sa Spain, diya siya under arrest, then gihold siya sa Barcelona na preso kadali. Then after ito gibalik siya sa Rizal sa Manila para dito siya gikulong. Rizal arrested and jailed in Fort Santiago. Rizal was arrested on his way to Cuba while traveling through Spain. He was apprehended in Barcelona on October 6, 1896. Despite being allowed to continue his journey, he was ultimately sent back to Manila to face charges of rebellion. And then, pagbalik niya sa Manila, gipriso siya sa Fort Santiago for 9 days. On July 6, 1892, Wednesday, Rizal went to Malacanang Palace to resume his series of interviews with Governor General. The pobres frailes or the poor friars, incrementory leaflets which allegedly found in Lucia's pillowcases, it is under the authorship of Father Jacinto and printed by the Imprenta de los Amigos del País Manila. Rizal was placed under arrest and escorted to Fort Santiago by Ramon Dispohol, the nephew and AD of Governor General Dispohol. So si Rizal, under arrest siya, then ang escort niya is padung sa Fort Santiago is si Ramon Dispohol, ang nephew ni Governor General Dispohol. Yan. Na yung mga rason na to, ganong under arrest siya. Tungod kay, ang rason na to, tungod sa iyang nasulat sa katong No Limital Here o El Filibusterismo. And then ang nakita mo sa Spanish authorities nga influential siya sa Filipino nationalism, then maka-inspire po siya sa mga revolutionaries. Then mo ng Spanish authorities nadlok siya sa pag-impluwensya sa paglambo sa nationalism, mo to siyang under arrest siya. And then gipriso siya sa Fort Santiago for 9 days. So mo mga rason na priso siya. On July 14, 1892, shortly after midnight, Rizal was brought under heavy guards to steamer Cebu, which dalon siya sa dapitan. So, may mga rason nito nga nung gidala siya. First, is to isolate him from Filipino revolutionaries and nationalist movements. Next, to control his activities and limit his influence. Next, is to undermine his credibility and his influence on the Filipinos. So, mo mga rason nga siyang gidala pa dulong dapitan. This steamer under Captain Delgras. So si Captain Delgras mo nagdala ning mong steamer. On July 15, sailing south, passing nilabay sila sa Mindoro, sa Panay, anto niabot siya sa dapitan pag Sunday on 17th of July at 7 in the evening. Nato sa chapter 2 matakol ni si Captain Ricardo Carnicero mo ni ang Spanish commandant of dapitan whom Captain Delgras handed Rizal. So sa chapter 2 ma-discuss ani nga mauni iyang amigo dito sa dapitan. On July 17, 1892 to July 31, 1896 muni nga year nga si Rizal gi-exile in Lonely Dapitan mo ni 4 years from 1892 to 1896. 4 years siya nga gi-exile dito sa Dapitan. And that's all. Thank you.